So you can all see my screen?
Yes, no problem.
Okay, guys, first, thanks for coming to this session. So basically, we are organizing these meetups because they are used to be meetups before COVID period, and we were doing our meetups in Barcelona city center, but now in Atiko Verdaguer, basically. But now this meetup was also supposed to take place in March, but then the curfew came, and then we first postponed it, and then we decided to do it online. And this has been like our fourth meetup, fourth event. And what we try to do in this growth marketing event series, rather than just giving the theoretical information about growth or like digital marketing, what we do is provide some practical information that everybody can apply in their own business or in their own businesses or in their own jobs, so that we prefer not to have just presentations and then you learn the same things that you hear over and over. Basically, we don't want to give the information that you can easily find online, but really drive some value to the audience. So, and all these events have been so far like this, so that it could be like a part of a workshop, or it could be like some types of tools that really they show on real time how to apply some of the growth methods, or they can share their case studies which was very successful in the previously. So basically they are either growth consultants or like CMOs, or it has been like this. And we also want to, if you have any suggestions for the upcoming sessions, please don't hesitate to suggest somebody. And just a little bit about myself. My name is Ata, and I'm co-founder of Frisbit. And I'm from Istanbul, Turkey. I moved to Barcelona around 3 years ago. I have 9 years experience in digital marketing, and my last job before my startup was being head of digital marketing at an e-commerce company. And just very, very quickly, what Frisbit does, my startup, it is a marketing automation software mainly for transactional internet businesses like e-commerce or travel, to provide automated retargeting campaigns without ads, via push notifications, emails, SMS, and webhooks, so that we can run abandoned cart type of campaigns and much more. But I don't want to bore you with that, but just I wanted to introduce myself in this way as well. And if you want to keep receiving about our updates, you can join our Growth Marketing Barcelona meetup group. And also you can join Growth Marketing Experts LinkedIn group to see some other people who are posting about growth. So basically this was my introduction, and now I want to introduce you Tim, which actually we met 3 years ago. It was it was a time when I was a fresh person in Barcelona who came to Barcelona for an startup acceleration program. And in 4 years from now, in the event in February, we just randomly met. And then since that time, we became friends, of course. But in the meantime, he has been giving consultancy on growth to more than 20 startups in Barcelona. And he knows a lot of stuff, and he will share his knowledge about that and many more. So today he will be basically showing us how to achieve sustainable growth in 3 fundamentals. I don't want to take more time of valuable time of Tim. So Tim, I'm making you the host.
Thank you very much for the introduction, Ata. I'm sure that I don't know everything, and I love to learn. Luckily, I have a student here as well. It's my class. I'm also a professor at two schools, which is Geneva Business School and SA Business School. So in both business intelligence, leadership for business and management, digital marketing strategies and technologies, business online, business analytics, a few other courses. Usually they're all around, obviously, the topic of business. So a little bit about myself. Basically, I'm also Turkish. It doesn't, my name doesn't look Turkish. It's actually Timuçin, but it gets very complex for people. So I go with Tim, because if not, I hear like weird names, Timuçin, Timuçin, and stuff like that. So you can call me Tim, but I'm from Turkey as well. I was born there, but I'm going to say I was lucky that my mom's French, right? And my dad always tells me, he's like, you should be happy I'm a French woman. And yes, I am very happy, Daddy. Thank you, because that gives me a European passport. So thank you, Sammy. When I was about 15, I moved to Seattle. From there on, a year after, to Los Angeles, about 6 years. Then I moved to London for 8 years. And then I came here 4 years ago. My career started in sales. And I am going to say, honestly, it was really dirty sales. Okay, why do I say dirty sales? Because I used to sell carpets door to door. Right, so that was really an interesting time. I was young, I was 18, 19. So that was okay back then, but I remember selling a $100 carpet for $11,000. That was the best profit margin I've ever seen in life. Then I start feeling really bad about myself, because it's like just trying to take money from whoever, even if they didn't need a carpet, right? So I was like, no, you do need this carpet now. Look at the door. You don't have a carpet here. And I made a lot of money back then, but I was young and foolish. So I never saved anything. I spent it all in a day in Las Vegas back then. And from there on, I realized marketing. Oh, okay, that's a bit more interesting, because you could show products to people who might need it, right? You would try to find these personas that fit what you're selling, right? So if they have a problem and you have the solution, where do you find these people who has problem? So that's why I got really interested about marketing. And I switched my sales career, it was at the beginning of my career anyways, to marketing. And I started in very creative digital agencies in London. I'm actually a sound engineer and techno DJ in the meantime. So I opened a recording studio, an online radio station, and I had for 5 years a big techno party of 2,000 people every 2 months in Electric Brixton, if you know London. Then I realized, I was like, oh, okay, I'm still doing just marketing of everything that I do. So I got myself a Google Squared certificate back then. So I did a 6-month Google certification, which is called Google Squared. It's not as cool anymore. Back then it was quite cool because, oh, okay, somebody, I'm going to have to mute you, Atta. No, that's Victor, I think. Okay, I had to mute somebody. Sorry, guys, because there was a bit of feedback. Because there's 2 Victors suddenly. Yeah. So basically, I realized that marketing was the core of everything that I do. So then I switched really into, how can I say, into more the tech side of marketing, not just the creative agency side, but I really like the tech side. So softwares, any kind of tool, platforms. How can I automate? You know, how can I automate whatever we do, and how can I get those leads that really needs the product? And I don't like to get leads that are not going to need the product and try to force them to get a product, right? So that's a bit about me. If you do have some questions after, we can chat. But moving to Barcelona was one of the most interesting things I think that I did in my life. Even if I moved so many cities in the world, Barcelona was fresh of breath, a breath of fresh air. Why? Because there's a really good tech startup scene here in Barcelona. And I'll be honest, I think there was a little gap, you know, and somebody coming from London, I was able to, I think, see that gap, you know, analyze it. And I really kind of pushed myself into that gap, which was somebody who knew sales, marketing, and that would learn products. And not just marketing and sales products, but also any kind of analytical products, anything from task management. I do a lot of that as well for companies. And in that way, I called it Growth Consultancy, right? Why Growth Consultancy? Because if you can synchronize all the departments like marketing, sales, and product, and you go in the same goal, that is growth. That is growth. And I see Raheem shaking his head. Absolutely. If you do synchronize your departments and everybody's working on the same goal, right? And the goal is clear, and the goal is communicated well, and you communicate with each other the goal all the time, and you see the progress of the goal, that is already a big start on growth, right? That you're going to grow like that. So Atta mentioned 20 startups plus. That is only in Barcelona as a consultant, but obviously I did a lot of full-time jobs that you can check. My last full-time job, I was a COO of Cards Guru, which now is valued at 15 million plus, maybe even more since I left. And I started from very early stage. I grew it to 47 people. And I got the bug again, the virus again, and I was like, I'm going to go consultant again. Right? I didn't calculate, obviously, COVID-19. That was in February. And I had all my clients lined up to work with the clients. And the COVID-19 arrived. And it was like, uh-oh, so what do we do now? Right? So that slowed a little bit my growth consultancy. But luckily, US cloud and e-com is doing really well. So I was lucky to get into that area a little bit more. So Atta, I know that we have a poll before we start. Is that correct?
Yes, I needed to unmute me. Yes, we have a
Is it the pre-event poll, right?
Yes.
Okay.
If you want, we can publish it. Yeah, you can launch it.
Guys, we have a very quick poll. I think is it anonymous? Did you do it anonymous?
Yeah, that's anonymous.
Yeah.
So
okay. So there's about 6 questions. It's really to get to know you and understand what you're in. Because by the end of the workshop, what we're going to do is create these little groups or together, and at least we know where you stand. So I'll launch this poll right now. It's going to be in the middle of your screens, okay? And you could just answer. It's a multiple choice or a single choice questions. Can everybody see the poll? I think so, right?
Can you see the poll or no?
Yeah, I see some. Yeah, thank you, Andres. Also, the results of this hopefully help me a little bit customize what I say and answer some of the questions in a more custom manner. Custom towards your industry, towards your field, towards what you do.
Let's see who will be the majority of this session.
Oh, it's very windy. I'm going to have to shut the door. Luckily, my assistant shut the door. I color my assistant sometimes. She's going to get angry. All right, so we got 10 people, 12 people who's answered. That's great. 13. That's going. 77% of the people has voted. That's amazing. I'll wait a little bit more, and then I'll end the poll just to make sure that we don't waste time waiting for people who maybe haven't started. All right. And of course, don't forget that you also have the chat to continue chatting about random stuff or anything about the subjects and fun stuff. I know Naive started the conversation, so. All right, so I'm going to end the poll because more people who seem to be here, but maybe they are not active. So I will end the poll. Thank you to the people who's answered. All right. So I'll share the results all together and we can find that out. All right. So about 14% are employees, but luckily we have 36% of founders, because for founders, this is going to really work really well. It will work for employees as well. If your company is a bit smaller, it's going to be easier for you to get the approval for these projects. But obviously, if it's bigger, it's going to be a bit tougher. Some freelancers, some students, but majority on founders. Area of expertise in marketing, that's perfect because that talks a lot to me. Also in level of growth, I know some stuff. Okay, that's perfect. So no idea or beginning to learn, some beginning to learn. So I'm very glad because beginning to learn and I know some stuff, that's exactly where I think the workshop is going to fit. Rahim, I think that you're the one who answered expert, possibly. It's anonymous, so I don't know. But the tough crowd for me is going to be Rahim today because he's also a growth expert himself. Okay. So do you track data? Google Analytics only is the major winner in this poll. That's great because we're going to look at some other platforms. You can integrate every other tool that you have almost automatically, right? I have my dashboard from different data sources. Okay, all right. And I'd like to ask at some point, do you have one dashboard for all the different sources? But that's a bit what we can. So funnels, how good are you? I know what it means. That's great. I built my own funnel. That's perfect. I checked my funnel. All right, so majority, and I know what it means. That's great, because we're not going to really talk about what it means, but we're going to see how we can build quick funnels, how we can analyze them, and how we can experiment on funnels. Your knowledge on experimentation, I know what it is, but never done. That's perfect. I have some people A/B test. I'm actually doing testing experimentation. So that crowd, those 3 people who answered the 21%, is going to be a bit more the tougher crowd, because we can always, on the Q&A, we can make it a bit more advanced. Some of the things might seem a bit, not beginner, but, you know, like not too advanced, right? So if you do want some more advanced answers, that's going to be the Q&A, right? Okay. So perfect. Thank you so much for answering the poll. That get a bit of an idea of who's here and what you guys do. So we'll try to make it a bit more relevant to you guys. So I'll stop sharing that poll right now. Okay. And you know what? Let's jump right in. I'm going to share my screen. Okay. Can you guys all see my screen? Yeah, perfect. All right. I'm just setting my second screen so I can see all your beautiful faces. Okay. Because I really hate it when I don't see people. And it feels like I'm just talking to myself, and that's definitely something that I do anyways all the time. So we don't want to do it while the workshop is going on, right? Present for current slide, so we'll do that. So obviously, as you know, the subject is achieve sustainable growth with 3 fundamentals. Obviously, there are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds other fundamentals that we can think about, but these 3 fundamentals I've seen that they work really well on growth, and that helps companies achieve sustainable growth. Okay, so if you don't agree with these 3 fundamentals and you have some other fundamentals, please do write them in the chat. And also at the end, I would love to hear a bit more about why you guys think about these fundamentals, if there are other fundamentals that you would recommend to the attendees and to myself as well, and to Atta and so on, right? Sorry guys, I'm just making sure that I'm plugged in as a charger. Perfect. All right, so in these 3 fundamentals, of course, I've selected the fundamentals that I believe are super, super important. And it's not just I believe, we're going to look a bit into very simple data. Okay, so data and dashboards, it's your number 1 fundamental. You have to have your data and dashboards clear, structured, and very visible, right? Because then you can do whatever you want on top of it. You'll always have an eye on the health of your company and whatever activity that you are doing. Funnels, I think funnels is something super important. A lot of people will say, yeah, I know what funnels are. I know what my funnels are, but maybe they don't know exactly how to visualize them, how to track them, how to put real numbers behind them, and actually see that actively moving through, people moving through the funnel. And that's where it's going to be very interesting to see as well. Experimentation is the last fundamental, but if you can achieve your data dashboards, you know your funnels, and you start experimenting, you have this ecosystem of being able to read your data, take decisions, understand your funnel, create new funnels, experiment around them, okay? And with an experimentation process framework, we're gonna look at the end, you can keep repeating these. So data and dashboards. So what I did is I made it a bit simple, right? So I took 10 of the startups that I actually consult for. And in these 10 startups, I didn't even have to ask these questions because I consult them. So I know these answers, but still I went to the CEOs and said, hey, you know, what do you think about this? They were like, yeah. So I made it very interesting from 10 startups, okay? 7 of them said that they have data in different tools, okay? So they have it everywhere, but they have data, which is good news at least, right? 20% of them, so 2, said, oh yeah, I'm very happy with spreadsheets. I use my spreadsheets. I put all the data in there. It's manual. And 10% of them said, I need to ask someone, right? So that one. But this is really, if I look at my 20 startups that I did consultancy in Barcelona, even then all the companies I work for and the full times, this is kind of where the numbers are, to be honest with you, right? There's always that company that will tell you, the CEO that's going to tell you, I'll have to ask my marketing team, I'll have to ask my sales team, I'll have to ask my product team, right? You're missing something very crucial there, right? Decision making. You're the CEO. You should be able to see your data 24/7. And when I say 24/7, you should be able to see it on your phone, on your Apple Watch, if that's what you fancy, on your iPad, on your laptop, and on the TV screens inside your company if needed, right? So that's why I selected data and dashboards, all right? And we're gonna look at now funnels. So 50% said that they have it clear in their mind, okay? 20% said not sure what you mean, okay? So I had a few people said, what do you mean by funnels? And this is one of the funniest things is that 3 of them, or 30% said pretty sure my marketing team tracks this. And when they say pretty sure, they're actually not sure, okay? Because I went to the marketing teams and I said, hey, can you show me your funnels? They're like, oh yeah, it's in my mind. It's here. I'm like, I can't see your mind. I can't read your mind. So it's very hard for me to actually see your funnel. And that's that 50% of the CEOs said they're clear in my mind. Okay, that's great. I mean, it's good to start that it's clear in your mind because then you can possibly map it out. So also a bit of data on experimentation. I had, out of 10, 5 says, yes, we always experiment, but it's an absolute mess. When I asked past experiments, they're like, oh yeah, maybe we have a Google Doc about that. Maybe it's in a spreadsheet, right? Maybe I'll have to ask and so on, right? So also on that, a lot of people failed all experiments, so they give up. Okay, experimentation takes a while. Okay, we will look at that. It takes a bit of time to really grasp how to experiment, how to archive it, and how to come up with ideas, which we're going to look at that as well. And 30% said not ready to experiment. Okay, why are they not ready? They don't have the right tools. They don't have the right framework. They don't have the right process. Everybody wants to experiment. Okay, why? Because if you don't experiment, it's very, very difficult to grow because you're going to keep doing the same thing, and the same thing is going to be the industry standard, if so. And this is funny because just in the beginning of the workshop, we were speaking a bit with Rahim, and he said the same thing of growth is try new things, and that's how you can actually find new things to do and grow. So this was a bit of data that I wanted to bring, just very simple data, just to back it up, you know, why I chose these fundamentals. So what we're going to answer today is how to track data in one centralized place. We're going to understand how to hack your marketing funnel, and we're going to understand how to conduct experiments, right? These are the three questions that we're really going to answer, okay? And you can have questions about whatever you like, okay? But if you do have questions around that, try to make them around these topics, because that's what I would love everybody to actually come to this workshop and say, oh, I know how to track them in one centralized place. I know how to hack my marketing funnel and how to do experiments. You know, if I do hear that, I think it's a successful workshop, okay? So let's really dig into data and dashboard, okay? So I'm not going to explain what is data, what is dashboards, and so on. We're not going to make it that silly, all right? Just going to share a few of the tools that I really like. Why do I like them? Because they're very simple. Okay, they're simple to use. You don't have to be a data analyst. You don't have to be a data scientist to actually achieve some data dashboards for your company, okay? So the first one is Databox, which we're going to look at in a bit, all right? The second one is Clipfolio. And the third one, it's the free version. It's there. It's Google Data Studio. It's seriously powerful, okay? It's a bit, I don't want to say harder to learn, but it's a bit more advanced. So you have to customize it a little bit more and actually understand more. So I'm not a data scientist. I'm not a data analyst or anything, but I can get Databox dashboards going very quickly. Okay. And so since it's a workshop and not just a presentation of me talking and showing you some slides, okay, what we're going to do is this is data and dashboards workshop. So I'm going to switch my tab here to Databox. Okay. So as you can see on my Databox here, there is absolutely nothing. On getting started, we're at setup progress 40%. So thanks to Atta, I think it was yesterday, right, Atta, that I asked him, I said, hey, can you get me a free trial of Databox on your account? And can you put your Google Analytics source? Okay, that was very easy. He went on Data Manager. He selected Google Analytics and he's put his company, Frisbit, as you've seen in the beginning. He's just integrated Google Analytics into Databox. That's the only thing that he's done, okay? Because we wanted to have,
took less than a minute.
Less than a minute, right? You went, you click, you started your trial, you click, you say, oh, I have Google Analytics source, it connects, you log in, and that's it, your Google Analytics source is there. So we didn't integrate other sources today, but just to start with, I can tell you, that this kind of softwares, you have a bunch of integrations, okay? And why do I say a bunch of integrations? Because in these startups that I consult, I come in, they have Mixpanel for product analytics. They have HubSpot for CRM and marketing automation. They have Hotjar. They have Google Analytics. They have also their social media, so Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and so on. And they have all of this. Intercom for customer support, most of them. And also ads. But none of them could actually show a centralized place where they can see every software's data in one place and make real-time good decisions, okay? So this is why I wanted to show this integration. There's a bunch of integration. It just keeps going on and on, okay? And they keep building them, and they have some real integration. The pricing is very good as well. You'll check it out. I'm not going to go into that. Okay, but so what I wanted to do is, since we arrived in the home, I know that Atta has connected that. So what I'm going to do is, first of all, I'm going to look at metrics. So Google Analytics will give you some of these metrics already in here, okay? Which Atta, because he connected, is automatically put these metrics under his name, okay, other teammates, and I could create my own metrics here. But when I say create your own metrics, it's very, very simple. When I click add a metric, I will have a metric library already provided to me, thanks to Google Analytics, right, and Databox connection. So these are some of the like basic things that we see on Google Analytics. Okay, so I'm trying to show all. Okay. Uh-oh, are we gonna have some technical issues today? Okay, that is frozen. Or I know where it's frozen because I have Zoom on at the same time trying to do this. So let's refresh. Sorry for the wait there. You see, when there's a technical problem, I start sweating. It's like, uh-oh.
Yeah, but that is like the rule, no? Like,
yeah,
when you're showing a demo, it has to be.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we tried this earlier and everything was running.
Everything was working, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so we're back. As you can see, I'm sweating a little bit.
I had it this week too with another webinar, and everything froze. So
everything.
Took me 5 minutes just to go offline again and back on. So don't worry about it.
Thank you, Rahim. I have a little bit of beer that helps. So I'm not going to show all because that's where we're getting into a bit of a problem, but there's many, many, many more metrics that are natively shown already. As you can see in the metric library here, you have about 3,187 metrics in this metric library. Okay. So what we're going to do instead of this is go on to data boards. Okay. They call it data boards, but they're dashboards. Okay. Clipfolio calls them clips, I think, or clipboards. Everybody calls it something, okay? What we're gonna do is we're gonna create a data board. We have two options, right? We have use wizard, start blank. Just to show you how simple it is so that people don't have this excuse saying, I don't have a dashboard, I don't know how to build a dashboard, I can't build a dashboard, I don't have the budget to get somebody on, and so on. I hear this a lot. Seriously, I hear this a lot, okay? So what we did is we chose from the wizard, we chose our source that is already connected. Okay, if not, we could have connected some others. And you know, for the sake of it, I'm just going to start from a template for now, and then we'll look at a custom build on seeing how a custom build is that simple as well. So when we look at pre-built dashboards for Google Analytics, we already have a set of them. If I scroll down, it takes a bit of time to load, but we have many, many, many dashboards available to us already. So email traffic overview, right? Google Analytics product revenue, and so on. And you're going to have some mixtures as well, like SEMrush and Google Analytics together, right? Sadly, that internet is taking time, so it doesn't show us the screenshots of the dashboards, okay? But let's say that I had HubSpot and Google Analytics. I would definitely go for monthly marketing performance. Okay? Very simple. I would click it, use a template. I would connect HubSpot because that's not connected. And Bob's your uncle. You have all the metrics needed for your monthly marketing performance, okay? So I'll choose something that has only Google Analytics for the moment, okay? Let's say, okay, we want to choose Google Analytics traffic growth, the simplest one, because it's just Google Analytics data that I asked Atta to integrate yesterday. I'm not going to make too many combinations of data. So what happened here is just updating, as you can see. All right, what we're going to do is we're going to view that dashboard, okay? So basically that dashboard is already populated with the metrics in Google Analytics, okay? That was simple. Okay, it's too simple, right? So we'll look at a bit more on the custom side of things. But basically, we'll have our sessions, we'll have our location, we'll have everything that is in Google Analytics. Is a bit harder to find this in Google Analytics. No CEO would just want to use Google Analytics, right? So Databox, it gives you this dashboard right away. I will have it on my phone, right? I will have it on my phone. I will have it on my Apple Watch. I'm a CEO. I have my revenue. I have my visitors. I have everything to ease myself, okay? And to actually make good decisions, and not decisions that are stress saying, hey, marketing team, get me those numbers. Hey, product team, get numbers, because that happens all the time. And then until those numbers come along, maybe that decision process in your mind is already slowed down and your cognitive power is not there anymore. Okay, this happens a lot. So even you could just take something that is already built. We can click on edit and you're going to see how simple, right? This is the keyword. That's what I love, how simple. Obviously, as you know, since we just started this account, we're getting this product tour, okay? So we don't care much about it, but let's finish it. All right, so basically, Clipfolio, Google Data Studio, and Databox, they offer you kind of the same things, right? So on the left, because I have Google Analytics chosen off Frisbit, I have all those metrics, basic metrics from Google Analytics already in place, okay? And that is going, it's loading. If we go custom, you'd have anything that you've made custom inside Google Analytics. So any goals that you have in Google Analytics, you can pull them in right away. And calculated is one of the most fun bits that we're going to look at in a bit, okay? So you can calculate actually two metrics together, right? So maybe we won't really dig into it, but if you click create new calculated metric, you can say, I want to calculate X plus Y, and I want to divide them by Z, and I want to just see that number into my dashboard. You can do it, right? So that works really well if you want to do ROI stuff and not just on Google ads, but you really want to see from zero, from your accounting expense, and really how the invoices of Google ads, and you want to see the ROI there. You can do this kind of stuff. There's so many things that you can do with calculated metrics. Okay. So anyways, this is simple. So I'm just going to build a quick dashboard together with you guys. All right. Just to show again how simple that is. And then we'll get onto funnels. So I'm going to instead go start blank this time, okay? And again, I am not a coder, I'm not a developer, I am not an expert in data analysis or data science, but I'm an expert in tools. I love tools, I love softwares that make my life easier, my job easier, okay? So basically I got this white, like blank, sorry, because it's red, it's not white, it's a blank dashboard, okay? It already gives me a set of layout, but we don't really care because we can do that. So I already see that there's a goal overview for Frisbit, right? So if our goal is quite important, and I'll tell you how I do things, is usually from the left side, it's more like top end. So it's like leads, visits, and so like visits, leads, conversion, revenue. Like I like to tell a story with my dashboards, and I really recommend to you guys as well, just to tell a story with your dashboard. So it's readable from left top until the right, and you can really see kind of a journey into your metrics as well. Well, I know that goal is quite important, so I've put goal there, and you know what? I don't want to give it that much space. Oh, that's done. So I know that audience overview is going to be something simple, but I do want that in the beginning of it. So I will put my audience overview. So the users, the sessions, the percentage, okay? If I had the e-com, maybe you'd have some extra e-commerce overviews and so on, right? Okay, and on, let's say, also I want to understand my pages and sessions, which pages gets what sessions, right? Super simple. I had, so since I'm teaching in these schools, business analytics in one of them, and I had one of my students ask really a nice question, said, hey, I really don't want to see that in a line. I was like, okay, you don't want to, you just click on it, right? You come here, visualization types, and you have all your visualization types from number, line, bar, pie, table, pipeline, funnel, progress, goal, anything that you like is there available for you, okay? Let's say that I wanted to just do a revenue number or something. I can just click a number, okay? And I can click on that because it's an empty number now. What happens is on the right side, as you can see, it's telling me, hey, you don't have a data source for that. And this is great because you could build one dashboard, right? With a bit of Google Analytics, with a bit of HubSpot, with a bit of your accounting software or whatever software you use. So if I choose the Google Analytics, it asks me to choose a metric, right? So let's say that we had revenue, but I don't think, because it's not an e-com, there's not going to be revenue, right? I didn't even check that, but there shouldn't be.
No, there's no revenue.
Exactly. So I just want to, so I just want to have number of sessions in a number format, right? No line format. Because if I did choose that possibly there, I would have it in a table. Okay. So you can customize these, but also date. I want to see today. I want to see week to date. I want to also see yesterday. I want to possibly have last 30 days, like rolling. I also want to do maybe last 14 days. You know what? Just for the sake of it. So since I selected them, and I could also do everything right away with previous period or same period last year. Okay. So these are, again, super simple, but maybe last year we don't have these metrics, so I'll keep it on previous period. Okay. And as you can see now on my date selector, I have month to date, yesterday, week to date, last 30 days, last 14 days. Why is this important? This seems very simple, isn't it? I hope so. I mean, that was very simple to build. This is a dashboard, right? In a bit, like if I fill up a bit more, I would design it first in my head. I would sketch it. I would say, I want these numbers. I want that as a graph, as a line. And I can build it in no time in front of you guys, or just in your office, where you can build it right away and say to your CEO, hey, here you go. You know, I've done this, right? So this dashboard, it's great because what happens is if I share, all right, I'll have the shareable link, okay? So I can pass this link on to somebody, or what I can do is get myself a little screen. They're now very cheap on Amazon, okay? That's what I did in the previous startup where I was the COO. We got, I think, about 5 screens because we had 5 big pillars and tables. And we did a marketing dashboard, we did a sales dashboard, we did a customer success dashboard, right? And then for C-levels, we had more revenue and OKR kind of dashboard, right? So right away, I was able to utilize these in no time, okay? And if we had some other data boards, we could include them and just do a loop. I would loop them every 60 seconds to change the dashboard, right? And you put this in your entrance, you put it in your kitchen, wherever you want, okay? This automatically makes everybody data informed, which is step 1, right? So they at least know when the CEO asks, hey, what was our session? Or, you know, how many leads we got yesterday? And the marketeer or whoever doesn't have to say anymore, yeah, I'll get back to you on that, or I'll check my spreadsheet. He goes, if he's that smart, he goes on his phone and says, oh yeah, it's just here. Or it's on the screen there, right? So that right away, it prepares you to understand, to be data informed, and then you could be driven after, which I don't really suggest data driven, but that's another topic. Just a few security measures if you just want it on your office IP address, if you want to secure it with passwords. Okay, so that again, very cool. But what's great is when we go on snapshots, okay, we do this for every startup that I work with. I put my email, okay, I put monthly or weekly, usually I like weekly on Monday. I don't like it at 9 a.m. because at 9 a.m. I don't want anybody to bother me. I have my own things to do. And I get it at 11 a.m. At 11 a.m. I'm lucky to see dashboard, data board, everything for all the companies that I work for, okay? And I know what's happening. So this really, really, really helps me. And it's just an automation that comes to my email. All the CEOs that I worked with, the second that they got this email for the first time, I surprised them. I never told them. Okay, I never told them, oh, Monday you'll get a report. I never told them. Monday morning they got it, and they're like, what is this? You know, and they're like, Tim, wow, like, you database, didn't you? I'm like, yeah. Look at the numbers. Like, oh, I didn't even see the software yet, but I have an email with every important metric of my company. Is like, thank you so much. Like, what can I do more? I'm like, no, that's okay. That's what I do for you, right? Okay, so that's wow moment 1, right? It is really wow moment. Another CEO, the second that we were in sales period in April, because it's a company that does cannabis stuff. So 420 is an important holiday, as you know. So we had the sales period, and I was like, so how much revenue did we get? Is like, oh, I need to check. They have 2 Shopifys and so on. They have to check in different places. And I was like, oh, no, I can't do that. So I built a dashboard in about 15, 20 minutes. I brought the revenue. I brought the things that were important for me. And I integrate Slack on the Slack channel. And every morning we got the revenue from yesterday. And I also included some goals. We're going to look at that now. So super simple. You have an intranet, you can embed it inside your intranet. Okay. You can give whatever access you want. Very, very simple. Okay. So I'm not going to continue because you've seen how easy. If you do have some questions at the end, we can answer them. I'm not going to really go into each bit and whatever else you can do, but you can do a lot of things. For people who are a bit more technical, you can come on the terminal, right? Bam, you have a terminal. So you want to push some data, you want to test some data. Naive is shaking his head. It's a bit more technical. I know that. So I wanted to make sure that he's happy with that as well. So there's a terminal here so that you can do all your fancy stuff, which I don't. I usually would have to call somebody to go in there, okay? But I don't need it, right? Most of the time we don't need it, okay? So this dashboard is done, right? Okay, if we finished it, it's done, right? But because I didn't have a goal at hand, I just wanted to show you how to build it with it. Okay, that's great. So I was mentioning about these goals, right? Okay, bam, okay. So that was an e-commerce, so I took revenue. But let's say that in here, our goal is gonna be something like our goal completion, right? Goal completion, okay. So I select that, okay. So I already know our monthly goal, right? Last month is done 28 goals, okay. It's a B2B, it's SaaS. So it's normal that the numbers are a little bit smaller than crazy consumer-based e-commerces, okay. And you know what? I'm gonna make a bit like this month we're doing so many things. We have marketing activities, you know, I wanna hit about 38, right? Bam, I've added a 36% goal there. And I can go crazier. I wanna do, you know what? I wanna do daily goal. I wanna have a weekly goal, all right? And I might wanna have even monthly goals and certain months separately, right? Because maybe you have an e-commerce and you have the season of Christmas or the season of 420, all right? So you can, in the beginning of the year, your OKRs, your goals, your objectives, everything, you can really map it out in a dashboard, like in here, okay? Not in a dashboard, but in the dashboard, you can see the percentages. But here, what can happen is that alert me when the goal is hit. We love this one because the goal is hit. It's celebration time in the company. My goal probably won't be hit after 70% of the time. This is great because you still have 30% of the time, okay, to work on hitting those goals, okay? That's really important to have this 70% of the time. You still have 30% to do activities to hit that goal, okay? So in that way, I could just update that. Let's do that for a second, okay? I'm gonna say, okay, all right. So because we created this goal, we will always have a percentage if we want, all right, and where we're standing with that goal, okay? You can edit the goal, you can put in your favorites, which is on my favorites. But what's great is that goal is right away on my phone, it's right away on my Apple Watch, it's right away if I connect it to my Slack and I get on my Slack. My whole company now has a view on the goals, on the percentages of where we are towards our goals, okay? So OKRs are great, but if you something like that, OKRs are really bad, okay? Because you're not tracking where you are at, okay? So this is a couple of the things that I wanted to show you here. There are some other things where we saw metrics, so I can build my own homepage here, because let's say I'm in marketing, I want to have marketing metrics, I want to have marketing goals and marketing data boards. And salespeople want to have sales metrics, sales goals, and sales data boards. And the CEO wants to have one metric from sales, one metric from marketing that are KPIs and that he really cares about, and he can build his homepage separately than his other teammates. So when it comes to his home, it speaks to him and is custom for him, okay? So we can go on and on about it, but goals, there's different views. You can add all your goals here, you can tag him, and then you can say marketing goals, this goal, that goals. You can do anything you want, okay? And we did that. They have a free model as well, I think, now, right? And if you have an early stage startup, I know some of you said MVP, right? If you work on your MVP right now and you're planning all these things when your MVP launched, you already data and dashboards, you're already got one of the fundamentals to prepare yourself for sustainable growth, okay? I really mean that, okay? Before I get out of here, I'm just gonna show one last thing because I really love it, okay? Is these scorecards, right? Every morning, I'm a CEO, I just want a sales metric, okay, blah, 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 all right? Let's say, because we have only Google Analytics, I'm not gonna be able to do everything, But let's say that these are the metrics that I choose that I want to have every morning on my phone, on my Slack, okay? And every morning, or yesterday or previous week, every morning I'm going to deliver this instead of email into my Slack if I connect it, or my mobile. It will be a push notification into my mobile. I click it, it will open the scorecards that you see on the right. Okay, this is again super, super, super important. Okay. So as you've seen, you have the Slack and so on. So I'll leave Databox now because you've seen it's, I mean, it's incredibly it's easy. Okay, and you can get your data and dashboards going in no time, literally no, right? Okay. Yes, you're going to have some custom things that maybe you're going to be like, Tim, but I have a custom metric and so on. Until you get there, if you do the basics, right, you're going to already have a great view. If you do have the custom stuff, it's very easy again, Google Tag Manager, fire a JS trigger, right, and we can pull it in. No problem whatsoever. Okay. Excuse me. So that was data and dashboards, okay? When I say workshop, it was a very simple, 5-6 minutes, and we were able to achieve a lot of things there. So the fundamental number 2, funnels, okay? We discussed funnels, right? So again, I'm gonna do these 2 first fundamentals. I really do it a bit more workshop. I have tools for it. They're very simple, easy tools to use, okay? So funnels. In funnels, I have, again, 3 tools that I like. I mean, the third one, I don't really like it, but I had, since they were all 3, I wanted to include a third one. So the first one is Funnelytics. So we obviously going to look at Funnelytics. The second one is Funnel.io, okay, which is a bit more popular than Funnelytics, more expensive as well. And then we have Funnel Flows with a terrible logo, and it was, apologies for the design. I'm not a designer. I didn't experiment much on the design. So basically, these are really simple funnel tools to map your funnel, to track your funnel, to analyze your funnel, to design new funnels, okay? So what we're gonna do, I'm sure you guessed it, do the same thing, but this time with funnels. So I'm just moving the Zoom little thingy on there. So Analytics, boom, okay. Analytics, I've logged in. That's the only thing I did. But yesterday, again, I asked Atta, I said, Atta, here's a pixel. He's like, okay, yeah, pass me the pixel. He's like, it's a bit last minute. I was like, yeah, but I just want to open up these softwares with some real data, you know? And it was like, okay, you know what? I'll do it for you because you're a friend and because you're doing the workshop, right? He's going to say something. Tell us.
No, just laughing. But yeah, it was, I mean, if he had told earlier, probably we could have seen more data, but still, I think it is enough for the workshop to get the idea, right?
Yeah. And also what you said is very interesting because I said it yesterday. It was, I think, 6 p.m., 7 p.m. You put it in place in what? Because you have a Google Tag Manager possibly in a couple of minutes, right? And right away, we're able to see some data. This is what I mean. When people say, oh, I need to think about how I'm going to do this. This is going to take me weeks. I need a project scope for this. You don't need that. Just get the job done. Get shit done, right? That's the key to growth as well. Another fundamental, maybe I should have included that, is get shit done. Right? That's definitely a fundamental, you know, but have that for always. So this morning we did a quick test just to make sure that it was working with Atta, and we saw some. But I'm not going to get into that. I'm going to do the same exact thing live, okay? So workshop live, all right, Frisbit, I'm creating this funnel, okay. Good. Here we go. So I have already some templates for me, which I don't want to do because I just want to, first of all, analyze my funnel. I want to understand what's going on in my funnel. I have a blank canvas. It's very scary for some blank canvas, but I like it. Why? Because I'm just going to go on pages. I'm going to add a generic page. Okay, it's just like a little placeholder kind of thing, right? Generic. I'm going to open that settings here. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put frisbits.com. Since he has the pixel, I'm going to put this little picture button just because I like to see things fancy, right? Bam, we have the homepage design, everything's there. Okay. So that's great, okay? But where do I start with my funnel? That's the question, right? So I know my homepage, but I don't know what's happening before that. Interesting. I know it on Google Analytics, on sources and so on, but it's not visual, okay? So what do? I come here, all right? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come on previous steps. I'm going to open up my previous steps. All right, it's gonna take a little bit of time, but here we go. All right, bam, since last night, okay, I have these sources. What am I gonna do is I'm gonna put a Google source, a Facebook source. I'm gonna, where did the Facebook source go? That's taking a bit of time, or it's usually on top of it. Okay, I'm gonna continue mapping a little bit of my previous steps. So we've included Facebook. I'm gonna include LinkedIn, okay? That was the about page of LinkedIn even, that's separate, okay? So I'm mapping out, okay, I'm not gonna make it the most fancy looking, sexy looking thing, right? But I've mapped out a few, okay? I would see if there is anti-crisis SEO. Wow, I don't even know them. Maybe I do wanna track it. So maybe I put that as well, right? So obviously I don't like the namings, so I would rename things, I would clean them up and so on, you know, I would label it as, you know, anti-crisis. Maybe we did a guest post there, anti-crisis SEO, right? Okay, so I just want to have that clean. I could change the looks of it and so on, but that's little makeup thing, you know, like that's visual things that we don't care about. But so here, that's good. So I know that from that 1%, 100% of it came here. Obviously, it's one-on-one. Okay, there's 14. That's great. But maybe then I want to bring them onto another page, right? That's possibly I'm pushing people from my homepage to my pricing page, right? So I would do that. I would do the same thing, and I would go and I would do the same URL for the pricing page. I know that Atas is one page, and he needs to put some tags so that we can do, but that's not a problem. So, but for now, what I want to show you is you've built how you think you're marketing your company, right? Homepage, pricing, sign up page, whatever you have in your mind that you told us, oh, I have it clear in my mind. Put that clear in your mind, but don't let it be just in your mind. Click the numbers, click the flow, and leave this traffic running, okay? So today we are the 13th, is it? Yeah, so we put this yesterday, so we might have some metrics from yesterday as well, right? So let's see, that's gonna take a little bit extra time. But basically, I can map that funnel that I have in my mind. I can map it right away. Then if I had the next pages, I'd have the percentages of people going into what page, okay? That's quite important as well, right? But also you might say, oh, we work a lot on our blog, you know, and you might wanna actually analyze that. You do the same thing. You'll bring your blog page, you do the same thing, right? You do your blog, you make sure that you have that on your blog, you take it in, all right? And the traffic comes in. So that's simple again. But what we're gonna look at, what you can achieve with these kind of tools, right? First of all, you can take and say, oh, this is our generic funnel, and so on. And then you can start testing some different funnels and you can note them here. But here, what's great is forecasting, okay? So you can forecast. After you have things, you can say, yeah, I want the click-through rate to be this, okay? And this is my daily traffic. You can map all this and you can click through the conversion percentage to target steps. Okay, that's great. So we looked at the tracking, very simple, but that's interesting. We can do custom parameters. So in this way, if you have your UTMs very clear from your Google Ads or whatever you do, you can actually separate each URL, each UTM, each campaign, each email campaign. You can do funnels for all your email campaigns as well, right? Just by adding a custom parameter, okay? Saying contains key value, blah, blah, blah. I could add this as a KPI. I can say anybody who comes on my site for me, it's $1 value. It's $1 value. Bam, you have $1 value, right? I put $1 value in there, or just a lead value, right? A lead for me is $1, right? Example. Bam, I would be able to forecast, okay? So how I would be, if I did all those settings here, right away, what happens is I have my people, I have my leads, I have my sales if I've also defined those, okay? The revenue expenses, if you want, you can enter them, or you can also push them in different ways. Your profit, if you want to calculate it on here, okay? If you're doing anything, ads, CPCs, and so on, your return on investment, right? This is absolutely gold, guys, right? Why? Here, Google, audience size, I want to put ad spend on there. On Facebook, I'm doing some ad spend. I put all these on here, and again, Bob's your uncle, you have a view onto your funnels, okay? And not just your funnel, but with some metrics behind it. And again, that's your forecasting, okay? And that's your KPIs, what's happening right now, okay? 18 leads, 100% conversion because I'm just doing the homepage, obviously, okay? By sales count and so you can really customize this. I'm not gonna get into it because then it'll take a little bit longer, but it's not gonna take, absolutely not. In an hour, you should have this going. At least the funnel that you already have, okay? So I'll change this focus. Also another little thing that I didn't look at is that what you could do, this is where it gets a bit scarier, is that you can we're back. Yes, my whole screen, everything froze for a second, but we're back. Can you all hear me still? Yeah. Cool. All right. So basically, right now we didn't do the identify. Okay. So we have user C99158E5 from Slovenia. Okay. So if I had a form somewhere for my lead generation form or so on, what I could do is I could pass the email, the first name, the last name, whatever you ask in your form. I could pass it with a JS event with identify. I could pass it on here, and I would have Cakir, his zip code if there was. I mean, that gets scary. But anything that I can feed here, I would have that. What does that mean? Let's say that I mapped out a crazy funnel, right, until the end, and I'm talking to this client, or this client became a client and loves me, but he told me, wow, yeah, it was so easy to get you through. I loved it. I learned so much on the way and so on. Then what I could do is I can go on there and I could just say people, I would choose him, right? And the focus is just going to be on him, where he came from, what he did, and so on. And that is incredible again. So if I clear that, suddenly it becomes all users. All right. So very simple. KPIs, people, forecast, previous steps. Start with previous steps because that's your first thing of seeing what are the sources coming in. If you have a month's data, obviously it's going to be different because you're not going to have just 5 sources, but you can have many, many other sources. You can group the sources, so don't get scared. You can group the sources, right? You can do many, many things by, like choosing some of these pages, some of the actions. The actions is your custom triggers. So I have a pop-up form. I want to track that. So you put your pop-up form. Maybe your pop-up form comes in here, right? So you want to track your pop-up form. Actually, I would have to get rid of this. Apologies for that, right? So I would do this, right? And I would say for my pop-up form people, come here, or, and then they go here. So here, what's going to happen? You're going to tell me, oh, we can't track that. Yeah, we can't track that right now. But if I go on tracking, I have the script right here. Okay. My only thing now is to fire this little script on Google Tag Manager is the easiest way on that pop-up. If I fire this every time, again, Bob's your uncle, you can track pop-ups, right? You can track your leads. You can track add to cart, click button, anything you want to do, you can just track it with some JS events. I know that they're working on a little Chrome extension where you won't even have to have JS events, but you can identify it. So like when you come on your site, you can say this and then click on the Chrome extension and it will actually feed it to here as a custom event. So I know they're working on that. It's going to come soon, right? But again, you can do the same thing of adding properties. No, I care about this UTM and so on and so forth. Okay, so these are very easy things to do. Again, you can map out whatever you want. You can, it's a blank canvas that you can work on your existing funnel and so on. And what you could do is, this is what I like to do usually. That's great, but you know what? I'm going to test a new funnel, right? So I try to copy and paste. Of course, everything's going to freeze a little bit, right? So I've copied and pasted that, and I will change this funnel, build a new funnel, and maybe I'll test that, or I'll see how does my users flow through that funnel, right? Through that new funnel that I have chosen, I have selected. So you can actually put your experimentations of your funnels here or your existing funnels here, right? And what you can also do is just go back, create different funnels, right? It's all tracked via just one pixel, right? Which is here, okay? Again, super simple GDPR stuff, IP blacklist, cross-domain whitelisting, they're all on here, okay? And you can share that with your team, of course, and give them access as well. Only Atta has access right now, okay? So in this way, you can build all your funnels in no time, All right, so I know that we're a lot in softwares and SaaS and so on, and I'm not building a SaaS one, but here on the vaults, I just want to show you some really cool ways that people are actually doing this. Okay, there's a little window outside. So Squarespace, right? So Squarespace's funnel is here. Okay, what does Squarespace do? Squarespace has done an acquisition funnel for their AdWords, come into a homepage, template, sign up, and they have their welcome instant email, getting started email, congrats email. They can track that with the UTM sources, right? So you can track anything like that as well. So that I know they've seen the email, they came from the email, they came back, and so on, right? So that's my acquisition. And what they've done here, they've also done a churn, right? Website setting, churn survey. They're trying for you not to churn, and then confirm churn, and then with the subscription cancel, the reactivation, they push you to that, right? So this is just a little template that you can even, here you can, Funnelytics template, boom. If you have ClickFunnels, you can do that, or you can just have the swipe files, right? So this was an example because we didn't want to build something too advanced, right? But if you start looking at like some e-commerces, they go obviously absolutely crazy. Where's my e-com? E-commerce, here we go. Right, so I'll take, I like the Beard Club or Barkbox. This is a bit crazy, right? So you can see that they've mapped out most of the funnels, Instagram funnels, paid ad funnels, if I understand correctly, YouTube funnels, YouTube and Instagram. I think what they're doing here is a separate content type funnels, as you can see, and they've mapped out every page, they've mapped out everything, and the second that they click numbers and flow, they see the whole live thing, and they can go on date ranges and so on, and really analyze their funnels. Okay, so analyzing the funnel is super simple, as we saw. Funnel is not very difficult neither. You just have to be a bit creative, get some new funnels. If you are not as creative and you're stuck, you can always go on the vault and see some examples. Also, Google is your friend. You Google on funnels, you find so many crazy funnels, so many people doing funnels, right? So that was also a little very quick kind of tool that I wanted to show. All right, I didn't get into the pricings, but all of them has like free plans or free trial plans that you can go on and test yourself right away. Okay, so if you want to see another one that I'll show you very quickly, I didn't get recorded permission, so I'm not going to go into it, but this is basically inside a actual e-com funnel that we're tracking. As you can see, all the numbers are in there and so on, right? So these things are super simple. If you're a consultant, you're a freelancer, I heard some of you, you can actually have all your clients in here as well, right? Okay. If you're just in your company, you'd have maybe one workspace, or you can try out some other workspaces if you have a completely different blog, a community or whatever, right? So this is quite good as well. Okay. So that is it for just showing how simple I start analyzing our funnel, where traffic coming from, and I could map the rest out. Thank you, Mark. And also I'm able to map out some new funnels. It's like a canvas, you know, I'm like a painter. I'm like, I think that my users actually love that blog post. If they read this, they convert better. Bam, I can map that out. I can track it. That hypothesis, if they convert better because they see that blog post before becoming a client, I could test that out right away and get you some answers right away. Okay. So perfect. All right. So these were the two. Don't go there. Fundamental number 3. Okay. So experimentation. Okay. So I do look at this right side of the screen because you guys are there. Sorry about that. I should look more here. Okay. But fundamental number 3 is experimentation. Why experimentation? We've seen we have data dashboards. We know our funnels and so on. We can track it. We can test new funnels. That's great. So now that we have all this, we can actually start experimenting, okay? But how do we experiment? We saw people don't know how to experiment, how to archive them, how to understand what the experiment want, and so on, okay? So this is not gonna be a workshop or a tool. I'm gonna share a framework, okay? And I learned this framework actually in Growth Tribe, okay? So I have to mention that there because if not, they will sue me, okay? I've got letters from them before, all right? Which is very interesting because you spend thousands of euros to go and train, and the second you try to do something, they send you a warning saying, hey, sue you if you use our material. It's like, yeah, but I learned and I spent money. Anyways, I'm glad that this is recorded and it's going to be even up on YouTube. I hope they watch it because that's not fair on people who attend the classes. It's like me teaching in my school and saying you can't use any of this. I taught you all of that, but you cannot use it, delete it. Right? That's not acceptable, right? Okay, so Growth framework is from Growth Tribe, so well done to them, big up. I still use it. So if you do want to have some incredible growth hacking courses and AI and machine learning for marketing courses, Growth Tribe is a great place. It's in Amsterdam. Okay, they have it now, I think, in France, Denmark, other places. So they have this framework. So I went there and I was missing one thing, and I learned something super important, which was a framework, because I was this experimental growth hacker, if you want to call it a hacker. What I was doing is I was just testing randomly. I was experimenting randomly, try to understand them and so on. And it was really giving me a headache because I didn't have a framework for it. So this really helped me. So I'm just going to run about GROWS, okay? And then we're going to see what's inside GROWS. So G for gather ideas, R for ranking ideas, O for outlining experiments, W for work, okay, which is the most important thing, but it just reminded me the song. Work. No, we should play that. I wish there was a DJ now. I could play that on the background. That would have been a good effect. At the next time when it will work like that, you know, we should have a DJ.
I'll
so
work
when I
on
say
that.
work. Yeah, perfect. Thank you. That's for next, right? We're learning as well. So work is very clear because it's very important. A lot of people do all of this stuff, but they don't actually do the work properly, right? And we're going to see why. Study the data. The S is to study the data. Okay, so this is an amazing framework. When you start putting it in play, you really are also suddenly becoming sustainable in the things that on the experiments that you're doing. You start learning from them, right? You study the data, you rank these ideas, and it's not just because I had an idea that we should put it in place, right? Because they're ranked. So let's look at that. Gather ideas. How do I gather ideas? Data analytics. You have your data and dashboards, you have your funnels. So you're good there now, suddenly, right? User testing. I'm not going to get into the user testing, but you should do user testing. Business intelligence, BI tool. I'm teaching that class. One of my students is here. So these are places that you can gather these ideas, okay? Really, you look at your BI tool, you're like, oh, okay, what's going on there? Okay, I have an idea. We can test that. Perfect. So that's how you gather ideas. How do you rank ideas? Prioritization frameworks, okay? There's two popular ones, Pi and ICE. There's a few other ones. Okay, if you don't know them, search them. I'll give you Pi. Probability, impact, and ease by giving 3 scores, 3 different numbers to probability, impact, and ease. I'm able to rank all my ideas, and the highest ranking ideas will be the first ones that have the highest probability, the highest impact, and the easiest to launch. So those would be the experiments that I launch ASAP. ICE is a very popular one, is a US growth hackers one, okay, by growthhackers.com. So then what I do is I outline the experiments, okay? Usually I go with the MVP style, minimum viable experiment. What is the simplest experiment I do that will answer my questions, okay? That would clear out my hypothesis, okay? I time box everything that I do. Usually I do 2 weeks, okay? 2 weeks is a good time, all right? If you're a bit old school corporate, or your products are big hardware machines, or your sales cycle is very long or something like that, then don't do 2 weeks, of course. Like try to understand your business. But usually 2 weeks for SaaS B2B that are moving fast after data dashboards, funnels, time boxing in 2 weeks makes sense for me. Qualitative results, okay, are important. Okay, so what do? You work. What do you do? Weekly sprints, cross-skill teams. Never have just marketing team doing growth. Never just have product team doing growth. Have somebody from marketing, somebody from sales, and so on. Just a second, guys. All right. So cross-skill teams are very important, because even somebody from finance, okay, will tell you something that you've never imagined of. Okay, they will tell you, oh yeah, why did we could do this, but maybe you've never ever thought about that. And this really happens a lot. I've seen it. Try to bring into these growth meetings people that you don't work with every day. Okay, that's very important. So last but not least is working agile. Always make sure to work agile, obviously, while you're experimenting. I mean, if we go into agile, it will take us another hour of the webinar talking about agile, but very important, okay? Study the data, hard and soft data, learnings, and systemize, okay? So, what do I mean by Learnings, I mean, all your learnings, you should put them somewhere. Okay, you should archive them. All right, always have them, because in a year's time, you might think about something else and be like, oh, hold on, we did something similar. And then you look at it, you're like, oh, we tested, we experimented something around this metric on that time and so on. So you can learn from them again, all right? And systemize. Systemize, we're gonna look at it now as well. So we've learned the framework. How the framework works is very simple, right? Gather ideas, rank ideas, outline experiments, work. I've highlighted that because that's the most important part of this, okay? Study the data, and what do we do next? What do we do next? We repeat and repeat and repeat and repeat and repeat and repeat, okay? Your data dashboards, you have your funnels, you can track them, you can analyze them, you can hack them, and you have your experimentation process to keep looping. And in that way, right, your first 5 to 7 experiments are gonna fail. Learn from them, all right? Because then you can, from those learnings, your other experiments are gonna get better and better, okay? So that's very important, that loop, okay? To repeat and repeat. That is very, very important. So that's about it. I didn't want to go really into very crazy details and so on, but I really wanted to leave a bit of time for Q&A, because there are some really interesting profiles here as well, okay, that I would love to hear from you, hopefully answer some questions, or maybe, you know, ask each other some questions. That'll be very nice. So what I'm going to do now, okay, first, before, maybe I should share that, so that if you do want any of my details, okay. So basically, my email address is tim@timcakir.com. I can't even say my last name properly, you know, because if not, it doesn't work. What I recommend, if you want, I mean, I'm not selling anything on my newsletter, but growthletter.timcakir.com. I'm trying to change my website, so I hope it's still there. But growthletter.timcakir.com, you can sign up for my newsletter. On my newsletter, I usually have good reads, I have some tools, I speak about certain little hacks sometimes, and it's really from my own words. It's my own newsletter, so there's always a little paragraph where I mumble and I say about crazy stuff, and really it's from my personality. You know, I just say, hey, this week I was stuck at home and I learned this, you know, or I didn't do that, you know. And so if you're interested about it, please go and follow my growth letter. Okay, so we'll come back.